on that field today, ask yourself this question.
What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Let's go! We made it! We made it! We made it! We made it! And let's go to the and let's go to the
When I step on the field, I send one message. And this is what it feels like. This is what it feels like. Football is getting hit. That's it.
It's gonna be football now! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Let's hunt now! Let's hunt now! Let's go! Let's hunt! We made it! And let's go to the and let's go to the
We're talking about the Jets like we're talking about the Saints. You know, all this, how like we the Miami Heat of football. Yap, 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 yap. The bottom line is you got to buckle up your chin strap. It's embarrassing. Yap, 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 yap. Don't disrespect the game like that. There's too much crying from them. He's a man. They can be hit just like us. He's a man. You already make the big money. He's a man. Don't cry when you step on the field, man. That's war out there. When I step on the field, I send one message. This is what it feels like. Oh, my bad, my bad. Your bad don't work in my world.
What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! We made it! And let's go to the and let's go to the it's a wrap. Game over.
All right, game started right now on the lunch break, powered by JM&E and streaming live on Roku TV, courtesy of BS3 TV. That's right. If you got a Roku streaming device, just download BS3 TV and you'll find me. You'll find my brother Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson. You'll find Queen 3 and Doc. You'll find the forecast. You'll find a whole lot of great programming. I'm going to make sure you find out what's going on the BS3 network. I'll be dropping that promo in just a little bit. But, man, we are 2 days away from the Cinematic Affair. That's where I'll be making my movie debut. I will be in a short movie called Soulmates, and I cannot wait. 2 days away. In fact, really, today's Thursday. Tomorrow night, there will be a social event going on. And if you want to know more information about the entire weekend, all you got to do is go to thecinematicafair.com, thecinematicafair.com. But 2 days away from the movie premiere. 2 days away from the movie premiere. I can't wait, man. I'm so excited. I am so excited. It's Throwback Thursday. I got a special guest that's going to be joining us at some point today. And I am really looking forward to having her. She and I are colleagues, but we've never met. But, you know, again, I've seen her work. She's seen some of mine, and I am just honored to have her drop in on this special day. Thursday was the best day for her, so I had to move Chris Gardner, Houston Round Ball Review, to yesterday. Had a great show with him. If you didn't see that live, go back and check it out. It's up and available. So on this Throwback Thursday, got a lot I want to talk about. Some of it I got into it with Chris yesterday, not into it in a bad way, but into it in a good way with Chris Gardner. Yeah, that's fine. That is fine. My special guest is letting me know when she's going to jump on. That's perfect. Okay, so I got a chance to get with you guys for a few minutes. So a number of things I want to talk about that I talked about with Chris yesterday with Carita Parks, because she is a PR specialist. She is a PR expert. And I want to get her thoughts on some of these different things that are going on with just top flight athletes, man. Just top flight athletes. Asking you shall receive, seek you shall find, knock, and the guest will drop in on you, man. Listen, without further ado, this young lady is as amazing as they come. She is, again, a PR expert. She hosts a couple of podcasts. She is CEO of Carita Parks PR, and I'm really excited to have her. Now, Carita, says that your mic is muted. There you are. Okay, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
And I can hear you. and I'm excited to have you.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here. I know we've been trying to work it out, so I'm glad we were able to do that.
Well, listen, I mean it when I say you were worth the wait. I mean that.
I thank you so much.
So, Carita, let's just jump right into it because I know you got limited time today. So you are a PR expert. Tell us a little bit about you and how you got into the PR space and the broadcast journalist space.
Sure. So started when I was young. When I was younger, I actually wanted to be in broadcast journalism. And that was like my passion. I was dead set on that until I got to college and actually realized, okay, I can actually do more in the PR realm, even though I'll still work with media, I'll still deal with media, but there was just more opportunity for to write stories on behalf of clients, also, or just write period on behalf of clients. But also, like I said, I was still able to work with media, and there's just an abundance, advertising, there's abundance of things that you could do on the PR side. So I decided to pursue that, and sports has always been my passion. I ran track when I was younger, 100, 200, 4x100. My mom, she was always watching tennis, football, basketball. So it was kind of around me for a long time. And so I was like, I want to pursue sports. And so I went down that road. I started off working 4 years in golf. And then my PR career took me in a different path out of sports. But I was like, I'm so passionate about sports. And that's how Parks PR was started. I was like, I still want to work in the sports realm. So I'm going to start this agency and I'm going to focus on that, which I did and I still have it. I'm still doing it. But in that process, I was working with an online sports blog. And one of my first assignments for them, or I should just say one of my assignments for them was some events for Super Bowl, doing some PR for Super Bowl. But while I was there, I kind of that was the first time I got the inside access to reporters and how they're working behind the scenes. And it kind of brought my broadcast journalism or my journalism side back up for me.
Okay, kind of brought them together.
Right. So they kind of come together, and eventually the PR stuff fell off a little bit with that client. But I was like, I'd be very interested in doing some writing for you. And she trusted me. And she saw my writing, even though it wasn't sports writing, she saw my writing on the PR side already.
Okay.
And I went to the NFL draft, and the rest is history.
That's what's up. That is what's up. We got Carita Parks joining us. She is a PR expert. She is CEO of the Double Take Sports and Parks PR. So appreciate you making the time for me. Where are you from originally?
I'm originally from Jacksonville, Florida. So I'm a Florida girl, born and raised. I'm currently in the DC. I was about to say the acronym DMV. But for those who don't know, I'm in the DC, Maryland, and Virginia area now. Been here about 10 years, but Florida is still at the heart of things, and that's where my family is.
You're looking at a guy that used to live off of Bay Meadows Boulevard. So
stop it. That's where my grandfather lives.
I'm just telling you, I spent some time in Jacksonville, man.
Oh, wow. What a small world.
Yeah. What was surprising for me about Jacksonville was, I think Florida, and I think a lot of diversity, and Jacksonville was not as diverse as per se Miami or Fort Lauderdale or some of the southern parts of Florida, but I still enjoyed it because I was literally a walk away from the beach.
Yeah, that's what I miss. And I'll say you get spoiled. Like I said, I was born and raised in Florida. I traveled, but when you live in Florida, it just never clicks for you that not everyone just has a beach right up the street. I mean, the whole, Florida is over 300 miles of beaches. And I know that because I used to visit Florida, used to be one of my clients. And that was one of their selling points. But it's true. And the beach is 30 minutes away. And then I get here in DC and it's I got to drive 2-3 hours to get to the beach. So it definitely made me appreciate my Florida roots.
Yeah. Well, let me just say this. I'm in Houston, Texas. And south of me is an area called Galveston.
Yes.
And they claim to have a beach. When you've lived in Jacksonville, when you lived in Tampa, when you've been down to South Beach in Miami, when you've been to beaches around the world, you go down to Galveston, you're like, that ain't no beach.
Oh, that's good to know, because my friend goes to Galveston all the time. Maybe because that's the closest beach, and they love it. But she's from Boston, which has beaches.
Okay, right.
But not like Florida.
Here's the thing. If you go down to Galveston, you want to go to the private beaches. You want to rent a Airbnb or a beach house on one of the private beaches, because they've done a good job. They've got true sand. They've got, some stuff like that. But the public beaches down there.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah, Keith Hennick, one of my longtime followers, said Galveston is not a beach. There's a lot of rocks. If you like to fish, you can walk out on what I call the shanties, and you can fish out there, but it ain't beach.
That is hilarious.
So Carita Parks, I gotta hit you real fast since you gotta go. As a PR expert, when you look at some of the things that are going on across multiple sports, when you look at the Kyrie Irving situation, when you look at the Kevin Durant situation, when you look at the Baker Mayfield situation, is there something in you where your skin just starts crawling, where like, oh my gosh, you need PR help? How do you respond when you see situations like that, where these guys emote out loud and they need a real good PR person to help them look better than how they seem right now?
Oh, I cringe. I can see it all the time. I mean, with the KD and Kyrie situation, I think it's just a little messy with how it all went down with the Nets, and seems like KD's loyalty might be with Kyrie. So that one is just an interesting situation to me. Baker Mayfield, I didn't talk about Baker per se. I talked about Deshaun Watson.
Okay.
However, it kind of runs together, because sometimes I do videos on my social media when it comes to some of these sports PR topics. And my thing with Deshaun Watson is the Cleveland Browns, they went all in on him with his situation lingering. But also, it just wasn't a good PR look, even from the Baker Mayfield side, because it doesn't seem like they really had much conversation with him to let them know which way they were going to go. And to go all in on this quarterback who has some troubles and just kind of kick the other one to the side, which we see this happen all the time. The NFL, sports in general, is a crazy business. So I absolutely understand that. But with this situation, there were just so many complications involved that just the way it played out was a bit messy. And then I think Baker wrote if I remember correctly, he wrote a note to the fans. He wrote a note to the fans before the
nothing was even said or done yet.
It's solidified. So that wasn't good. Right. And I, in particular, and I will agree, and I do understand that for the Browns, Baker may not have been mature enough for them, because he did make a lot of unnecessary comments. He lacks maturity, and the list goes on. However, as an organization, they still should have handled it better. Baker is a 12-year-old boy.
And let me just say, we know Baker very well down here in Texas, because he played high school football down here, and we've seen a shift in him. Really? He was the underdog. He was, undersized, and everywhere he's been up to Oklahoma, he had to work his way up and literally shocked everybody. But something shifted at Oklahoma before he got out of there. And then when he became the number one pick, whatever that shift was, they just poured gas on it. And he literally got his mouth ahead of his play and his results.
Yes.
And as I'm talking to you, I think, on the Baker side, on the Cleveland side, on the Deshaun side, on the KD side, does it boil down to not what you say, but how you say it?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
I would say, because regardless, there's just some things that you should not say, no matter how you say them. And sometimes it's interesting to me, because these guys, they're still professionals.
Yeah.
And if you know anything about PR, the job of a PR department, a PR person, is to prep these players. You're supposed to anticipate. You cannot anticipate every single question,
True.
but you kind of know what the chatter is, especially if there's something major going on. So
Right.
you're supposed to prep these guys. And so sometimes I don't know what's going on that end. It's like, did you talk to them first about like this could potentially come up, and if this comes up, this is how you should handle it. But also on the flip side, these guys are professionals and they should know by now what to say, especially when you look at like a KD who's a veteran in the league. You know, Baker, he should know. He's still a little young. But at the end of the day, all of these guys are professionals. You know, it doesn't matter if you are getting paid millions, billions of dollars. You should know how to conduct yourself. So it's a little bit of both. Sometimes it's what you say, but sometimes it's how you say it.
Yeah. We got Carita Parks joining us here on the lunch break. It's our Throwback Thursday. And again, it's really a special edition of the show. And I really appreciate her joining. As you can see from the ticker down there, she's a CEO. She is owns her own PR company. And, she's credentialed a broadcast journalist and covers the Washington Commanders, covers the Washington Wizards, covers the Mystics. Do you need coverage of the Nationals as well?
Not yet.
Okay.
But
all right.
That's on my list.
Let me just say this. They would have been a lot more fun to cover when Dusty Baker was the manager than maybe now, because I just love Dusty Baker. I love that he's here in Houston.
Yeah.
I feel like I've gotten my passion for baseball back, but I digress. So let me ask you this question, and this is me asking. What's the difference between PR and media relations? Because we deal with media relations for the Houston Texans and for the Astros and for the Rockets. What's the difference between PR and media relations?
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, it's very similar. So overall, PR is kind of considered is like a bucket term.
Okay.
And that's focused on the public perception and image of an organization or a person. So that's more of the like overarching terminology for the field. But within that, you have different tenets. There's like you said, media relations, which is essentially the part of PR where you are either, depending on what the situation is, you are either working with a client or an individual to help them get media coverage. So you're working kind of like I would say liaison. You're finding that story angle for your client or that person, and you're reaching out to the media, whether that's a magazine, TV, we call it pitching, to pitch that client to get them coverage. So that's one part of media relations. Another part of media relations is what I was talking about earlier, where it's your job to prep whomever you're working with on the interviews that they have with the media, and also the interviews that they may be having with the media, or any interaction that they might be having with the media. Like that's a part of your job. So that is mostly what media relations entails.
I got you, because here, when Bill O'Brien was a head coach, his media relations department was like the Gestapo, man. They were like armor guards, man. They were like security. You asked the wrong question and you liable to get ushered out of the media room. So it's a lot different under Lovie Smith. I mean, we got a lot more access. He stays with us longer. Obviously he doesn't, you don't get talked to after the session, because there were a couple of times when I got pulled aside and by the media relations department said, hey, those questions are more like fan questions. Like, no, I was asking them for my audience. I wasn't asking them because I'm a fanboy, but they would literally pull people aside and, kind of challenge them on their line of questions with.
It's interesting though, because sometimes in that arena, you see them, or I'm just talking like the overall industry.
Yeah.
Like you see them sometimes like checking like what the media is doing and saying, which, they should, but sometimes it doesn't feel like as much with the actual players who can say something that you have to put out a fire for. So it's an interesting dynamic.
Yeah. You all had one of my favorite media relations people in the whole wide world. I every time I see him, I get mad at him for leaving us, and that's Tony Wiley. I mean, that brother. And in fact, let me take you to where me and Tony go back. My first interview with a professional sports person was Tony Wiley.
Oh, nice. Yeah, he was my first year covering Washington, because at the time they weren't in the Commanders, but he was the PR, head of PR for the team. And yeah, he was really, really great to work with. It's unfortunate because that year is the year he decided to move on to the Special Olympics.
Right.
But I will say he is missed, at least on the media side.
Look, especially with all that's going on with the Commanders. In fact, we just had Doug Williams on at the beginning of the week with Coach Johnny Cole, and I was surprised at how candid Doug was about different things at Washington and at Grambling when he was there. And I was thinking to myself, I said, boy, your media relations department don't know what you're saying right now. They just don't know.
I need to go back and look at that.
Doug, hell no, he didn't pull any punches. He didn't save anyone from here's what really happened. So, Carita, I just thank you for making time. I know you only had about 20 minutes today, but I really thank you because you have such an amazing job. When I worked in corporate America, when I was in Jacksonville, I was the head of the branch down there for commercial markets. And whenever there was something going on AT&T wise, one of the media relations people would call me and say, here's what you can say, here's what you can't say. Anything outside of that, no comment or refer them to us.
Right.
And I stayed within the lines. I didn't get out of lines, but I never connected the two from corporate to the sports side. It's amazing what you do.
Thank you so much. And I'm glad that I'm able to bring that perspective, in addition to covering the sports, but I really love being able to bring like that PR perspective to a lot of the topics, because a lot of people enjoy that and don't always get that side of things.
Yeah. Hey, real quick, I got a text message from a real good friend of mine. His son is at UT, and Longhorn John wants to know how early how early should you get involved with a PR person? And let me expound on that, because when I think Baker Mayfield, he's the guy that they've been interviewing since high school. He's the guy that they will interview in college. He's the guy that unfortunately, is in front of the camera and mics on in the pros. When's the right time to start engaging a media personality with a young athlete?
That's a really good question. For me, I think high school is too. I don't think you need to necessarily do it in high school, because they don't have as many like interviews. I mean, they do, but at that point, they're still fairly innocent and they answer. And they don't need as much guidance for that. But I definitely think college for sure. Okay. Especially if you are a high-level athlete coming out of high school, that when you're in college, you're probably going to, unless it doesn't work out well, you're going to expand. So I would definitely say at least a freshman in college. But these days, because of the NIL,
right.
I kind of backtrack a little bit on that. It depends. So let me say this: it depends on what your goals are.
Okay.
If NIL is of interest, I would say maybe like a junior in high school, because then they can start, not in high school would they ever approach any deals, but so that you have that in place, they kind of can get to know the youth or that particular athlete, get to know them, learn more about them, but be primed to when they enter that college space to be ready to kind of go with those deals.
Now, Carita, this is just you and me talking. Nobody else is listening. There's a quarterback for UT by the name of Quinn Ewers who got approached in high school for a 7-figure NIL deal. And so that he could take it legally, he decided to reclassify and come out early to go to The Ohio State University, where he didn't play much, but guess what? He got his money, and as soon as he could, he transferred to UT. And guess what? That UIL deal, we know, took place in high school. So when I say that,
I kind of struggle with that, because approaching him with that deal at that time,
Mm-hmm.
like you said, he left early and like
Mm-hmm.
go, I know it happens, but I just feel like leaving high school early. That's just like so.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, and then when we talk about branding and what have you, and can we be real before you go? With us, they say, "Oh, well, you sound so articulate. What did you think I was going to sound? Stupid? I mean, what?
Exactly. That's such an insult, but
It
yeah.
is not a compliment. But the reality is, we want our young people who are working on our brand. Because if it was my son or daughter, well, this is our brand. You represent our family name. We want to make sure you put your best foot forward.
Right.
I would want to make sure that my son or daughter felt as comfortable as possible, speaking in cameras, speaking to, on TV or social media, because it's all fair play now. If they pull up a clip of you and it's not your best foot, they'll highlight that. If they pull up a clip of you and you're killing it, folks will want you representing their brand on NIL or whatever the case may be.
Definitely. I absolutely agree.
Carita, do you do seminars or workshops or things like that where you kind of cover the do's and don'ts of those kind of things?
I don't. It's crossed my mind before.
Get money, baby.
Maybe this is a message.
Get all I'm gonna say is get your paper,
right?
Your bag, because you have a wealth of knowledge and it's valuable.
Thank you. No, I mean, it's come up for me before. Like, should I do something like that? But you're right.
You'd be surprised at how many people would take you up on it. Because, like I said, my oldest son played a little football. My youngest son was a 5-star athlete coming out of Virginia, ended up at Arizona State, and they would have benefited greatly from, having some PR tune-ups, if you will, some tools from a PR professional.
Well, let's chat. I would love to hear more of your perspective on that.
Well, let's do that. Listen, Carita, thank you for the time. Tell everybody where they can find you, follow you, and all the great work that you do.
Ooh, well, are y'all ready? Because I got a lot. You can follow me personally at Carita C. Parks. My handle is on the bottom of the screen. That is my personal account, but that's where I post almost everything that I do. You can also follow my personal sports brand. It's Double Take Sports. That's at DBO Take Sports. You can also follow Triple W Pod. That is the Wizards podcast I do with 3 other credentialed reporters. So that's at Triple W Pod. And Parks PR, you can follow Parks PR only on Instagram. I'm only on Instagram. So that's at Parks PR. Everything else that I mentioned is across all platforms.
Well, again, thank you for making the time for us. We'll have to have you back, and I will definitely be getting with you to talk more about how you can just expand that brand, okay?
I look forward to both.
All right. Take care, Carita.
Thank you.
All right. Carita Parks, y'all. She is absolutely amazing. And do what she told you to do. Follow her because she does amazing, exceptional, high-quality work. I'm so glad to have had her on the lunch break today. All right, let me take a quick break. We'll come back with more right after this Throwback Thursday on the lunch break, powered by Jones Media and Entertainment.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.
right, y'all. We're back here on the lunch break, powered by Jones Media and Entertainment, and streaming live on Roku TV, courtesy of BS3 TV. When you get a chance, if you got a Roku streaming device, just download BS3 TV. BS3 TV. You'll thank me, because as you just saw from that promo, whole lot of great content. Whole lot of great content. Man, so much to break down with where my colleague and friend Carita Parks left us, man. A lot of good stuff. I often wondered how PR professionals processed when you get a guy like Kevin Durant who goes off on people on social media, when you get a guy like Baker Mayfield that is running his mouth about everything under the sun and ain't playing like he's the best thing under the sun. And it's very good to hear that she's like, man, my skin boils, so my blood boils, my skin crawls. So I'm gonna have to post up some of her videos so we can see and catch a PR professional talking about some of these things that go on. That, and make sure that your young athlete is as comfortable as possible being who they are on and off their field of play. So whether it's a basketball court, whether it's a baseball diamond, whether it's a softball diamond, whether it's a football court, whether it's a track, swimming pool, golf course, you name it, wherever their field of play is, you want them to be as comfortable on it as they are off it. So if somebody sticks a mic in their face, or nowadays they hit them with a camera, phone, or whatever the case may be, they can be as ready as possible to put their best foot forward. Now with NIL and with these endorsements and things like that, you don't want your child to be to miss out on anything. And let's just be real, there's still going to be some just say it, Jones, quit playing, discrimination and bigotry. There's still going to be, but I don't know if I want that person, that kind of person, representing our brand or our company. And man, you can just literally make those kind of things less frequent and less considerable when you put your best foot forward on and off your field of play, or your young person's field of play. So, Carita Parks is somebody, she definitely needs to do some workshops. She definitely needs to do, some, back in the day, we called them seminars, but man, I would tune in. I'd have young people that I know are up and coming get a part of that, and be sure that they can know what's happening. CJ, I know you shouted. My touchscreen is a little sensitive, so I was trying to go over and it ended up going off. So y'all forgive me. That will charge that to me. That wasn't technical difficulties. I can't blame that on Comcast or any of those folks. Yeah, it's Thursday, so I got to represent an HBCU. I haven't represented Alcorn in a while, and Alcorn is one of the top 4 teams in the SWAC football this year that I wanted to give some love to. So again, I don't want folks to Jackson State us to death. I don't want folks to FAMU us to death and forget about Alcorn. So again, I got them in my top 4 in the SWAC football preseason, top 4 SWAC preseason. We'll see how things play out for them. All right, so I got to do my bottom of the hour. Got to catch up some of the commercials that I missed in that first segment with Carita Parks. So let me take another quick break. I'll be right back right after this on the lunch.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.
2 days away. 2 days away. Like 2 days away. Like I can go to sleep tonight. I can wake up tomorrow. It'd be 1 day away. I go to sleep, and the next day will be the premiere and red carpet event of the Cinematic Affair. I will be on the big screen with a lot of other great talented actors and actresses, and I cannot wait. I cannot wait. 2 days away. 2 days away. Go to thecinematicafair.com, thecinematicafair.com, and man, get your tickets and come on, hang out. It's going to be a lot of fun. I promise you, all three of those films are going to be great. I mean it. You're going to love them. You're going to thank me. The Perry Games, The Book of Aries, and Soulmates. That's the one I'm in. That's the one I'm in. You're going to be like, man, that is crazy. You're going to love it. You're going to love it. So 2 days away. Two. Yep, 2. Thursday night, Friday, Saturday. So anyway, Astros ran into the Shohei Ohtani experience last night. That dude is just amazing. I know folks are mad because he got not voted in as a starter in the All-Star game at designated hitter, and you just can't take him individually. He is a complete package. He's a whole vibe all by himself, and we got to see it last night. He won his 6th game in a row as a pitcher, and he also cracked a triple as a designated hitter, broke the game wide open, and Astros lost 7-1 to the Angels. And Shohei Ohtani is just, I mean, he's just real. I mean, he's a real deal. Fun to watch, man. I always tell people, man, don't get so caught up in talking about what a player is or isn't. Just enjoy it. Like, so many folks did not enjoy Bo Jackson when he was doing all that he could do. I mean, at baseball and football, Bo Jackson was special. Bo Jackson was running across the outfield wall, like sideways, vertically, caught a ball, and then ran up and across the outfield wall. Bo Jackson was breaking off for 80, 90-yard touchdown runs, multiple runs like that in one game. And then he got injured, and then he was gone. And then people are now having to pull up, YouTube videos of what Bo Jackson was when they had a chance to experience him live. There's so much negativity around LeBron James, what he is and what he isn't, what he is and what he isn't. Just enjoy him. Magic Johnson, I enjoyed him. Michael Jordan, I enjoyed him. Larry Bird, I enjoyed him. Dominique Wilkins. You know what I don't care about? I don't care that Dominique Wilkins didn't win a ring. What I cared about was the highlight and the memories and the moments that when Dominique did his thing, it was like, God, dog, you gotta just enjoy moments like Shohei Ohtani. You got to just enjoy moments like Yordan Alvarez. You got to enjoy moments with guys like this. Man, getting to see Maddox, Glavine, Smoltz. Who else? I'm missing somebody. Was it Rocker? I don't know if I miss Rocker as much as I miss Maddox, Glavine, and Smoltz. But, I mean, again, that was a pitching staff. That was special. Darryl Strawberry, special. I mean, just special. Dwight Gooden, Doc, special. Enjoyed him. Yeah, he had problems off the field. Absolutely. And I didn't care more about the sports than I cared about their lives, but I enjoyed the moments that I got a chance to see them do what they do. I love what the general, Mike Patton, is doing. Mike Patton, every week, or is it every day? I'm not sure. Charge it to my head, not my heart. Brings up a legend from sports history. Kirby Puckett, he brought up Spud Webb. Keith Hennig, he brought up Spud Webb. Man, I'm telling, just great moments from players that I was able to enjoy. Kirby Puckett, man, you couldn't throw a lot past him. He was a hitting machine. Rod Carew, hitting machine. Spud Webb doing stuff at 5'5" that most folks shouldn't be able to do. Spud Webb won a whole slam dunk competition, and he's not even over 5'7". So I just got to tell you, man, I enjoy Shohei Ohtani, even when he beats my favorite baseball team, the Houston Astros. Again, they're gonna try to bounce back, get back in the win column tonight. Astros in LA to take on the Angels again tonight. First pitch will be a little bit after 7 o'clock Central, 7 o'clock our time. And we'll see if the Astros can get back in the win column. All right, another break. Be right back right after this on the lunch break.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.
Let me jump on there. I am 2 days away from the Cinematic Affair. That's why I'll be making my movie debut in a movie called Soulmate. So be sure to check it out. TheCinematicAffair.com, TheCinematicAffair.com. And this time is flying. All right, real quick. Let me go to the leaderboard of the Open Championship. The Open Championship, Tiger Woods off to a very slow start. He is right now at 5 under. Yeah, 5 under through 11. 5 under through 11. I like to start from the bottom and work my way up to the top. Mike Calcavecchia is in dead last. He's at 11. Remember David Duval? Remember when he was supposedly a challenger for Tiger Woods? He has just never been the same since he had back problems. He's 9 under. Going up a little bit. Let me pull out some names that you might know in golf. Again, Tiger at 5 over. At 5 over. I know y'all know all these names. John Daly at 1 over. He's finished for the day. He's at 1 over. That ain't bad. Brooks Koepka is at 1 over. He's finished for the day. Let's see who else. Phil Mickelson is even after his first round. He's at even par. He's sitting pretty. He's all right. Jordan Spieth at 1 under through 11. Who else we got here? Dustin Johnson looking pretty good. He's at 3 under through 15. He's in contention. Ian Poulter, 3 under for the day. He's finished. Who else we got? Rory McIlroy. Roy is in number 2 right now. He's 6 under and he's through for the day. But right now the leader is Cameron Young. Cameron Young is the leader. He's done for the day. He's at 8 under. First round of the Open Championship. They're over in St. Andrews. Over at St. Andrews. So again, a little golf for you on the lunch break. All right. Talked baseball, talked a little football. Let's talk some Summer League basketball. Rocket Summer League team 2-1 on the young Summer League season. They're going to be in action tonight where they take on Portland at 8:30. And you can see some of the young Rocket rookies and young Rockets players, second-year players, when you go to ESPN3. ESPN3, you can see the Rockets in Portland tonight at 8:30. I was talking on one of the other stations that I do updates for, and this rumor about the Texans and Jimmy Garoppolo won't go away. There are still rumors from some pretty reliable sources that the Texans are interested in acquiring the services of Jimmy Garoppolo. It would have to come through, I believe, a trade because Garoppolo, I think, is still is he under contract or is he in the final year of his contract with San Francisco? But Jimmy Garoppolo and the Houston Texans won't seem to go away, and I can't quite figure out where that's coming from. I don't think it's coming from Lovie Smith, because Lovie is doing what a head coach, especially a new head coach of a team, he's been in the league a long time, but his first year head coach of the Texans, Lovie Smith is saying we're all in on Davis Mills. He's talking about the work that he's doing with Pep Hamilton. He's talking about, how he's looking in camp, and they haven't even opened camp, but in OTAs and things like that. And, so I don't believe it's coming from Lovie Smith. I'm wondering if it's coming from Nick Caserio, but here's the thing. Nick Caserio doesn't talk like that. Nick Caserio doesn't tip his hand at what he's doing. Nick Caserio doesn't have loose lips. Now, I'm not a Nick Caserio fan, but I can also say what he is and what he isn't. And he's not one who talks moves like that. So I don't know if this is more media generated or if there is truly someone in that front office that is talking about what it would take to be able to get Jimmy Garoppolo under center for the Texans and give Davis Mills another year to develop. Everybody talked about how well Davis Mills played last year, and I got to tell you, Davis Mills didn't set it on fire. Davis Mills didn't say, oh, man, hey, brother, I was just talking about you, man. I was just talking about you. I'm talking about the general, Mike Patton, touring the AFC South. I just don't feel like Nick Caserio is the root of that. Not Billy Ocean, Billy O. Billy O. Bill O'Brien. Bill O'Brien was, in fact, I used to call him Lion O'Brien because that dude would lie straight to your face. I don't think they have that kind of stuff going on in the front office. I don't know if Nick Caserio could be considered untruthful. He just doesn't talk his business like that. Lovie Smith is focused on making a young quarterback feel comfortable. So it ain't coming from Lovie. Pep Hamilton don't have the juice. So the only place that could be coming from is, and I dare say it because I don't want to talk him up, he's been hidden in the shadows for a while and hopefully is on his way out of here. But Jack Easterby. Jack Easterby. I had Carita Parks on, and we were talking, and your name came up several times. So, yeah, no, it's all good stuff, man. It's all in the great work that you're doing, bro. It's when I grow up, I want to be just like you. It's something along them lines right there. So, anyway, and I want to leave a dude alone. When he's wrong, and he's wrong more often than not. But he hadn't been involved a whole lot with what's going on with the Texans now. So I don't want to call him out and he ain't doing anything. But again, two people that I know are not involved in the story that won't seem to go away, Lovie Smith and Nick Caserio. So if it's not Lovie and it's not Nick, only two people I know that kind of loose with their mouth is Jack Easterby and Cal McNair. And Cal McNair is normally loose with his mouth with somebody like Jack Easterby. Yeah. Yeah, you and me both, bro, had a great segment with her to start the show, man. I'm telling you, bro. I gotta tell you, man. You have opened the door to me to some amazing people in our industry. And I appreciate you, bro. I do. And I love what you're doing. I mean it. I just posted up, man, more quality content because there's another episode of Touring the AFC South out. If you follow me on Twitter, go check it out. Go check it out. All right, y'all, let me get ready to wrap this thing up, man. Let me get ready to wrap this thing up. Texans will open up their training camp here in another 10 days. The rookies report in 10 days. 10 days, the rookies report. On the 27th, the veterans will report. I expect a lot of the veterans to be in early, though, and then they'll actually start practicing on the 29th. They'll actually start practicing on the 29th. For those who are in love with the new Battle Red helmets, you get a chance to see them on the 30th. They'll wear them for that particular practice. And if you don't have tickets, they're absolutely free, but you got to go online and get them. So go to HoustonTexans.com. That's HoustonTexans.com so you can go out to the open practices. I'll be out there covering them for JM&E and for BS3 and for a couple of other outfits that I'm associated with. So again, I'll be bringing you live content. In fact, I might do a show or two out there. So if you see me broadcasting live from my car, you'll know I'm out at Texans training camp. So again, looking forward to camp opening up in about 10 days. All right. Mike Patton said, I just put my application in for media credentials for the Titans for training camp and for the season. Crossing my fingers, I get it. Bro, let me just speak that thing right now. You got them. They coming. You about to get that email notification that lets you know you in all the way in. All right, y'all. Listen, I appreciate y'all tuning in to me on Throwback Thursday. Again, special edition. Wanted to get Carita Parks on. She said Thursday was the best day for her. Moved Chris Gardner, Houston Roundball Review, up to yesterday. Had a great show with him. If you haven't had a chance to see that, please go back and check that out. I'll be back with a special guest tomorrow for Freestyle Friday. And, man, we're going to talk a little bit of HBCU stuff tomorrow for Freestyle Friday. Be sure and tune in. You're going to love this special guest. You're going to love this special guest because, man, she is amazing, and she's part of a collective. You heard a lot of negative stuff about the collectives. Well, we're going to set the record straight on all that tomorrow right here on the lunch break. So, as always, let's not be divided. Let's be united. I truly do love you. There is nothing you can do about it except get your tickets to the Cinematic Affair, thecinematicaffair.com. Come to the red carpet and the premiere on Saturday, and meet me here tomorrow for Freestyle Friday. All right, y'all. Y'all take care. We will talk to you soon.
Wilkes with what you need to know. Today is Thursday, July 14th, 2022. Number 1, 7 weeks after the horrific massacre at a South Texas elementary school, video of what happened has been released by an Austin, Texas newspaper and television station. Security video shows police officers retreating from the classroom where a gunman killed 19 students and 2 teachers on May 24th. The video shows the gunman entering the school and walking down an empty hallway at 11:33 a.m. 3 minutes later, police arrived, but it was 1 hour and 17 minutes later that officers finally entered and fatally shot the gunman. Number 2, the 113th NAACP National Convention will kick off in Atlantic City, New Jersey Thursday, bringing together leaders from around the country for a week-long series of events, panels, and celebrations. The theme for this year's National Convention is #This is Power. This is the NAACP's first in-person gathering since 2019 due to the coronavirus pandemic. Number 3, streets in the gambling center of Macau were empty this week after casinos and most other businesses were ordered to close while the Chinese territory near Hong Kong fights a coronavirus outbreak. Residents have been told to stay indoors unless they are buying food or other necessities. Authorities warned that anyone violating the rules would be punished. Casinos were ordered over the weekend to close for at least a week as the number of coronavirus cases in the territory of 700,000 people rose. Number 4, African-American Carlos Thurman, a 50-year-old former prisoner, is suing the North Point Training Center in Boyle County, Kentucky, for discrimination after his locks were cut off by guards in April 2021. According to the federal lawsuit filed by the ACLU, Thurman, who is a practicing Rastafarian, raised complaints about the prison's order that all inmates must have searchable hair regardless of length. The order stated inmates would have a reasonable amount of time, which is 30 minutes, to remove their own hair, or approved use of force by a cell entry team will remove the hair for them. Number 5, Tanita Myers, Vice President of News Operations at the Black Information Network and former Reach Media executive, has passed away at the age of 49. According to a statement by the Black Information Network, Myers joined iHeartMedia's BIN in June of 2020, following 15 years at Reach Media, where she was Senior Director of Radio Operations. She previously served as Director of Operations for the Tom Joyner Morning Show and other programming. Tanita's sudden death is a blow to her family and colleagues alike, as many have expressed their fond memories of her online. Her passing reminds us that we must take care of ourselves physically as well as mentally. We send our condolences to Tanita's son, Brandon, her mother, and other family members and friends. Rest well, Tanita. You will be missed. Here's your daily inspiration from Yogi's Jewels. The tongue is mighty. While it has no bones, it has the power to break a person's mind, will, and heart. Be kind. Join me today live on YouTube and Facebook at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central. Thank you to our What You Need to Know partners, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated and the American Heart Association. To subscribe to my free daily newsletter, please visit SibylWilkes.com. Be informed, be empowered.
BS3 Network. Changing the way you watch TV.